can't stop it. This song is so good.
Stop, really.
Live from the Sycamore Lounge, it's time to muster the gusto with James and
Welcome
Sean.
back to the Gusto. What do you have to say to the people?
It's cold. Hi. I don't know if this is gonna go up, but if it is, hi. I would say I missed doing the show, but I didn't.
Damn.
Cold.
Chuck is cold.
We have like an audience today. It's gonna be our guest today.
Move
Our
over.
sister Michelle. Sister Michelle.
Woo.
What's up, Chuck? Chuck's here.
Chuck.
Hi.
Chuck, get in front of the camera and say hello.
Hello.
Dang, Chuck.
Just getting in there.
Chuck, you seem so mild-mannered all day. All of a sudden, when the camera goes on, you're like a star.
Chuck was born. I
True.
guess he's currently urinating, so we're gonna have to wait. Give us just a sec, guys.
How does it feel to be in front of the camera again?
I mean, it's the same. I'm pretty drunk, so I don't
So
really
Sean.
care.
Woo.
I guess, James, what the fuck's your problem? Why don't you want to do fucking Must to the Gusto, you dickhead?
Hey.
You're coming on a little strong.
Sorry. Hey, James,
Can I have the
why don't you want to
flashlight?
do Must to the Gusto anymore?
It's not that I don't want to do it. It's that I'm I don't know. I thought lately that I'd like to lead a more sort of private life, and I know it sounds ridiculous because I understand I'm not a celebrity. I get that, but it's like in general, I feel like
Who said you weren't a celebrity?
I did. It seems like people voluntarily, or they volunteer to put a lot of themselves out in the world, be it through social media or whatever else. And I'm sort of backing away from that. And I feel like this is definitely a version of like putting your face out there and your stuff out there, which there's no problem with that. I'm not saying it's like wrong if you want to spread your message or yourself out in the world. I'm just feeling like I want to take a step back from that.
You kind of want to hermit a bit.
That's
You kinda wanna
fair,
hermit crab
but
it.
I
Just
always
kinda
saw
suck
this as
in.
more of like a Wayne's World kind of situation, where we're not really doing it for exposure. We're just doing it because it's fun.
Yeah, but I
And
also
ridiculous and a fun, ridiculous thing.
it is, but I had to like preparation went into interviews and things like that, and I would stress about that a little bit. So I didn't find that aspect fun, and I also found myself to be not nervous, but I would find it a little nerve-wracking when a guest came. Like I had to think of the right questions, or if it went off in a different way that I wasn't expecting, I'd have to wrangle that somehow, some way. And I try to be a good conversationalist, but like to have it filmed and then sent out into the world, I found that a little daunting. Also, people are not shy about telling you when they don't like something, and I have very, very thin skin. So people would I wouldn't even ask them. They would volunteer. Oh, hey, I watched your show. I didn't like it very much. It was like really boring, and it like dragged in the middle, and I didn't like this other part when you did this. And it's just like, that gets to me when people say stuff like that to me. but we're putting this out there. Anyone can watch it. Anyone can judge it, and that's just comes with the territory. But it's so strikes me as odd when I didn't ask you for any feedback. I didn't even ask about the show. People would just say like, "Oh, hi, I watched your show," and a lot of times I wouldn't even say like, "What did you think of it?" I would just say, "Oh, thank you for watching," and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, it was boring and stupid, and I hated it," and okay, maybe they wouldn't be that harsh, but they would,
What if we flipped? Do you want to be the co-host and I'll be the host?
Do you want to do that?
If it make you comfortable, I'll do it.
Maybe. I don't know. It's I do like, because when we mentioned it today, you said several times like, "Oh, let's go out and film," and I said no or whatever, or I was like maybe didn't show a lot of interest in it. Oh, good. Guy Fawkes is here. But inside there was this thing of like, oh yeah, that would be fun. So I guess I still do want to do it, but maybe I just needed to.
It sounds like what you don't like is being the center of it.
We went to the Catskill Mountains, which is like, see, I think that's another thing. I just want to like move to the mountains and not bother anyone.
So you want to be a hermit,
Kind of. I want to be a little hermity.
like a mountain man, like
I get that.
Yeah, which is funny because I'm not like a rugged outdoorsman. I never was. But when I go up there, it feels like, I don't know, I feel good.
nice.
I feel really good up there.
Yeah.
I feel like I could
So you kind of
stay
want to be like a
up here.
Buddhist monk in a sense.
And I don't want...
There's a quiet to it. There's a nice quiet.
You want to zen.
And I spend a lot of, like, we don't live in a city, but we live in a lot of people live around here.
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of
for
hustle,
sure.
bustle, a lot of driving around. And you go up there and it's just so, like, oh, you can breathe. There's room to stretch out. And I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. And, I'm just not a city guy. I'm really not a guy who enjoys the city.
I get that.
I enjoy aspects of it, and I enjoy, like, you can definitely see a lot of live shows, but I'm just like the oppression of living it. I find it oppressive to have people just all on top of you always, and you can't find a parking spot, and like you have to. I love, like, I've only ever, when I was younger, like, and you get behind the wheel of a car in this area, you drive to a place and you park at a place. And then I go, and I realize, like when you go to New York or to Philly, it's like it doesn't work that way.
No, it's not like that at all.
So it's like it's weird. Like I've been trained, and then I realize, like, oh wait, it's not like that everywhere. But I guess just in another reason, I'm not like a big city dude, So it's like,
Where's Michelle?
Supposedly pissing, and oh my god.
Still?
She's not pissing. I can see the lights off.
Go. Hey guys, welcome back to Muster the Gusto. We're in the car now. We're here with our guest, our sister Michelle.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh, this is exciting.
It's a good time. All right.
Here I am.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hosting is a lot harder than I remember.
What are like our earliest memories of
Oh, it's hard to... Have you guys ever thought about that? About what your earliest memories are? I don't know what my earliest memory is.
I talked about it on the Fear episode 2 with Brad. My first memory was a wrestler on TV, and he's talking. He was like, "You little kid," and I thought he could see me. I feel like I was 4 or 5, but then this was in Port Monmouth, and I also feel like I remember I had a yellow piece of paper, and I remember like saying the names of the people in the room. You had a friend named Gina, right?
Yes.
So I think I said Michelle, and then I said Gina, and I was saying everyone's name, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm taking attendance. See, I've got this yellow piece of paper here." No, I think that's like one. Those are like the earliest.
Do you remember Momo? Momo was Gina's younger brother.
Yes, he was like a little crazy, right?
Yeah, a little crazy. Not as crazy as what's his name, Joe.
Joe, yeah. That was.
But a little bit.
Yeah, I remember him.
Joe who? He
Were
lived
they-
next door to us at the house that we lived in Keensburg.
Yeah, he was like Mom always. Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah, didn't he bury one of you guys in the backyard?
Buried me in the backyard.
That's kind of creepy.
Sure did.
Yeah, I remember him like putting a firework out on the roof once, and Mom was like, "Hey, don't do that.
I
You're
remember
gonna set your house on
I
fire."
remember-
Pardon me, please stop.
I remember an instance where his sister had actually attacked him with a broken super soaker and like cut into his leg, and he needed to get stitches or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
I remember
Wild.
him lighting a magazine on fire and then throwing it into a mop bucket, and it just like, just inferno.
Yep, sounds like him.
Yeah, if someone were gonna play him in a movie, it would be Sid. Bring out that cartoon.
I remember actually walking down the street with him once because we would hang out because he was like friend by default because he was the next door neighbor. Walking down the street, and then 5 boys came, threw him on the lawn, and just started punching him.
Oh my god.
And then they went away. I guess that's called a jumping. I guess
Oh.
he was jumped.
Yeah.
He was jumped.
Yeah.
Now I should have probably, in retrospect, I should have like been like, hey, stop that, or tried to get in there.
Hey,
but I
stop
figured-
jumping him.
But I mean, I figured they would just start punching me then, right? So it's like, all I really did was hang back.
Sometimes it's hard. Like in the moment, like you think that. I think that I'm not always one to like jump to violence, but I have like a big like protecting people thing. So I think that when stuff like that does happen, I think my first instinct is to try and get people out of the trouble that they're in. But
I don't know if that's necessarily your first instinct. I remember a story about the time someone
I'm sorry,
I don't
I'm just
remember,
laughing
someone had
because
wronged your
she
friend,
said, "I'm
and then you
not,"
started punching
but I
them
thought, "I'm not
directly in the
okay."
head.
No, but he was punching. He was
No, he
punching
punched-
him.
he punched
was
Joey,
like,
that's
yeah,
right.
no. So this was like, it was like a whole
That's
house
right,
brawl
yeah, that's
thing
right.
that happened. So there were like 2 groups of friends that had gotten together, and they were all hanging out, and just, I don't know, things escalated. Like they just didn't gel well, and so there was like some kind of fight started happening in the hallway. So I ran out to the hallway, and I don't think I punched anyone in the hallway. I just like pulled my friends out of the danger areas that they were in. And then I got back into the bedroom, and there was this guy, Jared, punching Joey. And so I picked up Jared and I threw him on the bed and I started punching him. And Paul was sleeping somehow, and Paul woke
Azrael?
up. Yeah, Azrael rolled over.
Azrael,
He was
angel
like,
of death.
Azrael was like, I'm gonna
That's
punch
what he
that
wanted
guy.
to be
And he was like,
called.
I guess
Angel
she's
of
got it.
death.
And he just like laid there and like watched me punch the guy. And then the guy left, and I guess he had lumps all over his head. And Paul's mom was like, "What happened to you?" And then I saw him. Years later at a wedding. And we hung out and had shots. He was like, "Oh, remember that time you lumped me up?" And I was like, "Yeah." We like did shots.
I remember my earliest memory was we were at the Point Pleasant, or was it Union Beach? What was the one that had the dead end?
Union
Union
Beach.
Beach.
That was
the dead
Union
end.
We
Beach.
didn't
So
live
it's
in Point
Union
Pleasant.
Beach. We didn't live in Point Pleasant?
No.
No,
we live
we
in
never
Port
lived in
Monmouth.
Aquarium.
Port
Yeah,
Monmouth.
Port
That's
But
what
you
it was.
might not remember any of that though.
I don't
yeah,
remember
you were
any of
pretty
it.
little in Port
The
Monmouth.
earliest memory I have is that house, and we would have the parties in the basement. And I remember one instance where
Whose party?
we would just have like parties. I think people were down there, and we would like rollerblade and do fun stuff. And I might just be remembering this because of the videos, though.
Yeah, that's the
But
thing.
the
is
thing
that,
that
like,
I-
don't
the
remember
thing that
what
I
the first memory
specifically-
or what people
What
told me.
I personally specifically remember is biking home with Dad, with I think it was James, Dad, and I. We biked home, and Mom had gotten a microwave, and it was like our first microwave, so it was a really big deal. So that was like the first memory that I had. I don't know
First
why that
memory
was-
Do you guys-
is your
do
first
you guys
microwave.
I don't remember. I just remember the microwave and being like, "Whoa, that's cool."
What was
I don't know
Chuck's-
what that does, but that's cool.
What was your first memory, Chuck?
I remember waking up very early, going downstairs and making a condiment sandwich. I put like ketchup and like salt or something on it, and I called it a sandwich. And then she was all like, "That's not a sandwich. That's a ketchup sandwich," because it didn't have anything in it. It was just
Oh, so that was in Pennsylvania.
yes.
Oh, do you guys remember in the Union Beach house, we never made a full movie, but we filmed some scenes for a
I
movie.
do. I
in
remember my
which-
character's name was Adam, right?
Do we have access to
And
those
then
scenes,
you,
or
so
could
you
we
were the live
recreate them?
person, right? And then Sean was the ghost, I think.
Was he a ghost?
I think so.
I remember my name was Adam, and I remember one scene where
Pretzels?
I got pretzel and apple juice, right?
Yeah, I feel like we filmed that scene like a million times.
We
I
have
don't remember
pretzels.
any
And
of
then
that.
I think maybe that was why we stopped, because we were like, wow, this is boring.
But then do you remember we were filming something outside and a car pulled up and it had Dad and Grace in it, and that was the first time I ever met Grace?
Oh yeah, I do remember that. That might have been part of that pretzel scene.
Nice. But the pretzel scene was inside though, right?
Yeah, but I think you started outside, or maybe you started inside. You had a snack, and then you had to go outside for a minute for something, and then you came back in, and then your stuff was moved.
Oh, so
think
that
that-
was
I
the
think
point
that
of
was
the
the gist of
snack.
that
It
scene.
wasn't like we just wanted to film me eating a pretzel.
No, I don't think we necessarily wanted. He's just like, I really like pretzels.
Weird
Okay,
thing to
please.
want to film.
The thing about my characters, I really like
I
pretzels.
just
Really
love
love pretzels.
Do you wanna
Just-
reenact
It was
that
so
later?
interesting
We
seeing
could
him.
make like
Yeah.
a big budget
Yeah.
remake of
Oh,
it.
we could reenact
Like Demon
that.
in a
I
Drawer
think-
coming
I think-
September
but I think
11th,
maybe-
2021.
Stop
Demon in a
giving
Drawer.
away secrets.
Demon
I
in a
give a
Drawer
secret
is
away.
like the great
don't-
unreleased footage.
Unreleased footage.
Do you remember stuff from Fort Monmouth House?
I think the wrestler and the attendants, I think that was at Port Monmouth. I remember, did I have a Terminator 2 poster up on the wall? Because I
don't
think
remember.
I really, really liked Terminator 2 when I was little. And there was a video of Sean and I making Terminator 3. If we could get our hands on that video, we could add some of it to here. But the
Is
thing
that
Dad's
tape?
got it, I think.
does he really?
I think Dad has it.
Can't-
Well, I remember bringing the tape to Long Island, and I was like, hey, we could watch this and it'll be fun. And then afterwards, they're like, oh, can you leave it here? And I was like,
If
I'm
your
never
dad
gonna
has
see
it.
it again. So,
If your
but I
dad has
did.
it-
Oh no, you
stupidly.
did.
The movie was filmed with some kid who I don't remember who he was at all. It was called Terminator 3: Return of the T-1000, which was a liquid metal Terminator. And I think it was just us shooting guns at each other. I'm pretty sure that's all that happened in that.
That's what I remember about watching that.
But I love having that we had the presence of mind to want to film a new Terminator. Try hard to think of like
Yeah.
real nice,
Fun.
happy.
Real nice. Well, I think most of the early memories that I have that are nice and happy are not even like really big grand things. They're just small things. Like one was, I think I was telling you guys, well, when we went on our trip, about how in that house in Port Monmouth there was this like weird heater that was like right in the. It was in the floor, and it was like a grating, so it was
like in a
not
trailer or
pleasant.
something.
It wasn't pleasant to stand on. It was hot and metal. But I remember like after I would take my bath, I would sit in the corner and like warm myself by that weird heater that you had to walk on in the hallway. And I remember that you would play with Barbies with me.
I remember getting into like I had a Ken doll in Tennessee.
You had a Ken doll, or I remember you had a
think
New
I
Kids on the
remember the
Block
Ken doll.
Danny doll.
A what ball? What the? Oh, New Kids on the Block. Well, yeah, the Ken doll was like a little later.
Oh, okay.
I think I remember getting and like you could dress them up in different. Yeah, Tennessee like time slowed down in Tennessee, so we had to.
I did model cars and puzzles.
I do remember us watching horror movies a lot in Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
and
Texas.
me-
The
and
the
me-
biggest one I remember was Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Yeah.
in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Was that when you were in the
horrifying.
thing and then James comes in the middle of the night and like I'm scared or
No,
whatever?
No,
Sean
I said-
did.
I
James,
came
James
Okay.
was sleeping.
I was scared.
James fell asleep that night.
We're referencing
And
the
then
first
after
or
he
second
fell
episode
asleep-
for you guys that don't know.
I was scared a lot though. I remember, and I'm
so.
still. I feel like you
Yeah, 'cause Brad
ruined
was
my
in it.
life. No,
I
no, but there's this like. I don't know if it's probably just in general my natural sort of anxiety and paranoia, but it's like, as much as I love the Catskills, I was talking about earlier, like at night I get scared there.
Huh.
Just the quiet, the super duper quiet of it, like kind of puts me on edge.
Were
little
you
bit.
were you scared when we were there?
Yes.
Oh,
Constantly.
I didn't know. Like all the time, or just when you were alone
At night. It wasn't even when I was alone. It was at night, and it's like as we were going
by the fire.
to bed.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about Tennessee now. It's not even like I'm scared. I'm just like slightly on edge. Because,
Unsettled.
Uneasy.
Well, because I feel like these movies we watched when we were younger, or maybe in particular Texas Chainsaw, it's just like places, sort of more rural places. Because in cities, like obviously there's a lot of danger in cities, but it's like everyone's everywhere. You know what I mean? But if someone, especially like we were the only ones at the hotel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I know, and it's not necessarily logical or rational, but if someone's breaking in there trying to like do bad things to us, like who's gonna stop it? You know? So it's like that sort of like semi-rational fear, because that's not likely, right? That's probably not gonna happen. It could though.
I think that
You never know.
I don't know. Like I guess sometimes I have that fear, but I think that especially when I'm around the two of you, I don't feel scared because I feel like I'm the big sister and I gotta protect people. You know, like I always if I ever get scared, I usually what can stop it is me knowing that I have to protect people. car.
Speaking of which, though, I mean, should we be running these lights though?
Well, I think it's.
No.
I don't.
I'll turn off these ones.
It'd be better to run the
It
car
took
at
so
some point
long.
because it
Yeah,
recharges
yeah,
the battery
because
and shit.
The alternator will recharge. but
You're an alternator.
It's not thank
Oh,
you.
well, thank you for protecting us. I appreciate that. But I think I just like sort of have a natural anxiety about me, and like my brain will find a way to make me anxious about something. So I think that's the form my anxiety was taking in the Catskills. But like, I love it up there. I'd go up there right now if you guys wanted to.
No, that's fantastic.
We gotta eat
go.
Thanksgiving dinner though. But
No,
I do.
get in the car. Bring the macaroni
Bring
And the
macaroni,
gumbo.
we're going.
But I do. I really
and the gumbo.
genuinely like I love it up there. But yeah, I think I don't know if it was that early on in my life of just like watching those, because those movies, and you would get some dumb ones. I mean, you'd get good ones, but you'd get dumb ones too. Remember the movie American Gothic?
Oh, I
There was a
don't remember
movie? It was
that.
like based on the painting?
Sort of, but it was like grown-ups, and they were like acted like they were still kids. It was so stupid.
Oh.
But
Like
anyway,
Peter
like
Pan?
I don't know anything. I would just be scared of anything. But it's like, but I love horror. Like I really do love horror. And Mom was like always big Stephen King fan. So my girlfriend Laurel, she doesn't like horror at all, or she gets scared easily. But it's just like I try to like explain why I love it, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I guess we just grew up with it. And
Yeah, it's just kind of a part of our DNA.
Horror makes you feel alive. Like, it just...
or just like an interest in sort of the darker side of stuff, you know, like, and then I feel like whenever I like to think of ideas for stories and stuff like that and write, and I
that's
feel like
cool.
it always leans towards
that
the
comes
horror.
to-
So yeah, I don't know. I just my brain was infected at a young age. Thank you, sister.
You're welcome.
I don't get that. I don't feel that unease. No, I felt very comfortable up there. It's quite nice.
I feel
think
like in
that
a Queen
you-
video.
The both of you just like have throughout your lives as like young children, like you just showed like different personality traits. Like you were always the one, Sean, who would like just run away and talk to strangers, and and James would always like stick close to Mom and was really wary of people. Like you just from a very early age, you both were like very different, and I think that still you can still see that difference. But yeah, Mom had to put you on a leash because you would run away and talk to strangers.
It was a little monkey, right?
But James stuck close by.
I'm sure that didn't affect me psychologically at all, being on a leash as a child.
It was for your own safety.
Can we put him on a leash now?
I don't want to go.
You don't want to have a leash?
I don't want to go on a leash.
It's okay. You don't have to have a leash. You don't have to have a leash. If anyone tries to put a leash on you, I'll fight them.
She will. All right. I guess we should do like closing statements. How are we gonna wrap it up?
We'll come back later with other things, too. You never know.
In summation, what do we
summation
want
of
to
this
say
episode.
about childhood?
About childhood.
It's certainly a thing you experience, and it is your experience.
That's a good point.
Everyone's childhood is completely different, and there's no definition for childhood.
I would say there's no definition for how you look at your own childhood.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take a look back and, reevaluate what you think about your own childhood. It's always a good idea to look back.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
And Chuck just left.
There you go.
Bye.
Bye, Chuck.